Not gonna lie, we have been in a bit of a slump lately. The rush of new developers and publishers flooding the PC Engine has brought in a lot of people making some really low quality product. I don't even want to call them games, that's how bad some of them are. But Kyuukyoku Tiger is a shift. It's the kind of game that the PC Engine is known for, and it's bringing to the platform two very big names who are going to have an enormous influence on the system. I'm going to start with the publisher because that's easier. Taito was one of the biggest names in the arcade, and much like Namco, as the Famicom is now falling too far behind technologically, Taito uses the PC Engine as the destination for their arcade ports. They wind up putting out just as many games for the PC Engine as Namco did, and Taito goes a bit further since they actually make a couple of CD-ROM games. Taito's going to be a big player, and their debut is quite a splash. Though, in the case of Kyuukyoku Tiger, the developer is the real big name. Toaplan, a name that brings joy to shoot-'em-up fans everywhere. They're a company with a rocky history. They formed out of the employees of a bankrupt developer, Orca, who were best known for working with SNK. After avoiding the Yakuza, the group reformed under a new company, Klax. Klax made one game, a helicopter-themed shoot-'em-up called Gyrodyne. Taito published that one, and even though Gyrodyne was a success, Klax was not financially well off and quickly went under. So the survivors of Klax got together and formed another new company, Toa Keikaku, and I swear I did not make that up. Well, somebody realized that Keikaku means plan, and they changed the name before a single game was published. The first game from the new Toaplan was Tiger Heli, a helicopter-themed shoot-'em-up. After a few more helicopter-themed shoot-'em-ups, as well as some other games, Toaplan succumbed to their own financial problems, and the team was scattered once more, off to make more shoot-'em-ups. Even though Toaplan always struggled to find wide success, they gained an enormous cult following. Their shoot-'em-ups are some of the best ones released at a time that was the genre's golden age. On top of that, Toaplan often ported their games themselves, including this PC Engine version of their arcade game. Even though they don't have involvement with a lot of PC Engine games, Toaplan's influence is going to be felt a lot, and they are going to pop up every once in a while. Kyuukyoku Tiger got around quite a bit, though the PC Engine version is the first home port. This Famicom version followed about 6 months later, and unfortunately, it was ported by the notoriously shoddy developer Micronix, though admittedly, it was probably their best effort. A few years later, it was ported to the Mega Drive, as most Toaplan shooters were. The Mega Drive version is notorious for balance changes that were made to it, resulting in the game becoming absurdly difficult. So Japanese players actually prefer the PC Engine port. The plot of Kyuukyoku Tiger is that there is no plot. Seriously, the manual just says, play the popular arcade shooter. So you're a helicopter, there's a bunch of enemies, you shoot them all. What more do you need? There are 10 stages in Kyuukyoku Tiger, though to be honest, the last 5 are pretty much the first 5, only harder. When you start out, you're given 3 lives, and you have 3 credits. Climbing into any aerial vehicle or getting shot will down the helicopter immediately, and you'll go back to the previous checkpoint. Those checkpoints are fairly frequent, so you're not going to lose very much forward progress this way. On the other hand, losing a life means losing all of your power-ups, and of course, that's a much bigger concern. There are 3 kinds of items that drop from large enemies for you to collect. The first are the S icons. These power up the guns that you fire when you press button 2. Kyuukyoku Tiger does not have auto-fire built in, so if you've got one of the later PC Engine controllers, you'll want to turn that on to save your fingers. There are 10 levels of power-ups that you get by collecting those S icons, though as you progress, some of them look pretty much the same as the previous one. A fully powered-up helicopter can do quite a bit of damage. If you've collected 2 S icons, the next time you destroy a big vehicle, it'll drop a weapon change icon. These start out as red circles and then will cycle through green, blue, yellow, and back to red. Collecting one will change you to the weapon associated with that color, and these do not act as power-ups. The red is the default, a machine gun that fires straight ahead. Initially, it's relatively weak, but if you can get it powered up to level 10, then it is capable of clearing an entire screen on its own. Even at lower levels, it's not bad. A good choice that just doesn't have the reach of some of the other weapons. The green icon switches you to a laser beam, focused fire and extreme damage. Powering it up just makes your attack stronger. It's not the worst thing in the world, especially when you reach a boss, but the focused attacks don't help you with most of the enemies that you'll come up against, which usually makes this one the worst option. Blue is a spread shot, and as it increases in level, it adds more bullets to the spread. It's a pretty good choice of weapon for most situations. The yellow weapon is multi-directional fire. You shoot from all the cardinal directions around the helicopter. There are some points in the game where this is extremely handy, but other places where it's going to wind up limiting how much damage you're outputting. For example, it's pretty much the worst choice of weapon against a boss. On the other hand, it is very good at clearing out the ambushes that will come at you from all sides. However, there is a cheat that makes the yellow shot a lot stronger. If you hold down Select when you collect the icon, then rather than just shooting out from the sides, the bullets become homing missiles. They're still not the strongest weapon just because you don't get that many shots, but they're more effective at clearing the area around you this way. So useful, but a bit situational. The B icons grant you bombs. When you start every life, you have 3 bombs, and you can collect up to 9 of them. Hit button 1 to launch the large explosion, and it's a long-lasting effect that does huge damage. You can almost defeat some bosses in one shot with it. You'll probably notice from this footage that I'm kind of bad about using them at the best situations. I always feel like I can dodge and so I don't hit the button. But that's a skill issue, not a problem with the game. There's one more thing that you can collect, and those are stars that appear from some ground targets. These don't do anything immediately, but if you manage to carry them all the way to the end of the stage without dying, you'll get bonus points for each of them. Points are how you earn extra lives in Kyuukyoku Tiger. 50,000 points for your first extra life, 100,000 for your second, 200,000 for your third, and so on. A sequel was in the works for Kyuukyoku Tiger, but Toaplan shut down before it could be completed. However, one of the successor companies, Takumi, was able to take up the project and finish it, though it was too late for a PC Engine release. Unsurprisingly, Kyuukyoku Tiger on the PC Engine has a decent number of fans, though from what I was seeing, a lot of them would put this on the second tier for PC Engine shoot-'em-ups, just because it's so simple. The only thing that this version's really missing out on from the arcade is the 2-player mode, something that none of the home ports have. It's a good port of a good game by a good developer. You really can't go wrong with it.